Hey everybody, I'm joined here by Brad, who just came back from a Final Fantasy event not too long ago.
I did. My head is still spinning.
So Brad, what'd you see at the event?
So Square Enix was showing off the English version of Final Fantasy XIII on 360 and PS3.
Nice.
But they were only showing battle stuff, like
Okay.
running around the field, fighting monsters, tweaking out your party in the menu. No story stuff, no dialogue, none of the exposition.
But you got your hands on it though, right?
I did. I played it. I got to play it, but all combat, just tweaking out your party and killing stuff.
So you came back with a whole bunch of B-roll.
I did.
I looked through some of it, and I have no idea what the hell is happening.
That's justifiable.
So
it throws a lot of information at you.
Maybe we could sit together and you can explain the B-roll for me?
Yeah, like the thing to know, or the thing that stood out to me about this is just how much they've streamlined the combat. Like the roles of your party members, all the different things they can do, the way that the action flows and the turns proceed in a battle.
Okay.
It's just like so much faster and more streamlined, and like everything's just coming at you during the battles. So
well, let's take a look at it.
So let's take a look at the footage and see if I can explain it.
All right, Brad. So here we are in the PS3 menus.
Yeah, this is the main menu where you can organize your party and stuff. You roll around with all of your playable characters at one time, so you can just swap people in and out in the field. You don't have to like go back to your airship to change your team out or anything like that.
Oh, nice.
And so this is like, if we could hold here for just a second, this is kind of the focal point of all of the Final Fantasy XIII combat. Basically, you've got these paradigms, which are basically presets for your party members' behaviors or their roles in the battle.
So what do we like this hero's charge thing?
Yeah, well, so those are paradigms on the left there, and they're basically sets of 3 jobs because you have 3 characters active at a time.
Okay.
And so, like Lightning, the main character, is a commando, is just kind of like a fighting class.
All right.
You've got this kid Hope is a medic.
Okay. That's a kid. That's a boy.
Yes, that is a male.
That's a boy child.
Yes,
okay.
It is. And I don't
and then
know
this lady on the right.
Yes. She is a synergist. I don't have all the classes 100% straight, but they're pretty archetypal. If you want to keep going with the footage here, they're pretty archetypal classes. You know, fighter, medic, kind of support classes that do buffs and debuffs and that kind of thing.
Is there a mage?
Yeah, I mean some of them have kind of magic abilities.
Okay.
But the combos that you put these roles together in generate different bonuses.
Okay.
So, like if you have 2 commandos and a medic, you're going to get some kind of extra bonus.
All right.
Or any combination you'll see here. Yeah. So like, it shows you if you assign this class to this character, here's the overall bonus you'll get for that paradigm.
Okay.
And you can have it generate. I love some of the goofy names for the paradigms based on the different.
Like this disaster.
Yeah, the different recuperation, the different combos that you can come up with.
Okay.
And you can have it generate paradigms if you don't want to, if you're too lazy to tweak them out yourself.
Oh, like auto do it.
Right.
Okay.
So you've got your team is assigned there, and you're ready to go. All right, so that's how you set up your kind of the combinations of each character's roles.
Okay.
But each character themselves can specialize in those different roles, kind of to your taste. I love the snazzy little like animation of each character face.
Yeah, those are kind of cool.
It's pretty neat.
There's a lot of info on this game.
Yeah, there's still they've streamlined a lot of stuff, but there's still you're looking at a lot of ratings on weapons and all that kind of thing.
What am I looking at here?
This is
oh my gosh.
It's basically sort of like the evolution of the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, if you remember that.
Yes, I do.
Where you basically you progress your character kind of like a board game in that game.
Holy goodness,
So this is basically just like a 3D version of that.
Does this make sense to you, what's going on here?
Yeah, totally. So I mean, like I said, this is basically a 3D board game where you cash in points that, essentially experience points that you earn from battle. They're actually called CP. But you can basically choose your pathway here. If you want an extra 10 HP, you go that direction. Or if you want strength up, you go this way.
Okay, so we're going into leveling up basically.
This is how you level. Yeah. So like every time.
All right, a 3D sphere grid.
Every time that you gain enough CP to cash in on this board, it's called the Crystarium.
Oh sure.
You come here. And basically, cash in your points to kind of customize your character's strengths.
And you'll open up other nodes eventually?
Yeah, so, obviously the further you go in a pathway, the better the bonuses in that category are going to be.
Okay,
but
I think I got it.
But you see here, you see the 6 classes that you can be, the Commando, the Sentinel, the Medic. So you can actually have your characters level up per class, per character.
Oh wait, I'm stopping this for a second. Hold on.
If you wanna pause
wait,
for a second.
Yeah, so any character can be any class, like go down any pathway
They
for
can
any class.
any character can be all of the classes.
Oh wow!
but-
And could they be pieces of each class?
Yes, kind of. Like each character starts in each class at level 0, as you can see there
Yeah.
as a sentinel. If you want to let this roll,
Yeah,
I'll show you what I'm
let's
talking
keep
about.
moving. We need a telestrator.
We'll draw some smiley faces on the screen here.
Yeah.
But you're going to have a finite amount of CP unless you just want to grind battles for days and days. So
Sure.
you're going to probably want to pick
Specialize.
which classes, each character wants to specialize in.
And do you know if any characters are kind of have a better affinity?
Yeah, they actually, certain characters are predisposed to certain classes.
Okay.
So you're probably going to want to customize along those lines, but you
Okay.
could certainly kind of make people be whatever you want if you want.
So I've stopped it here again. It looks like we're looking at the summons or the spells at this point. They're calling them techniques.
Right, yeah.
They're
These
magics.
you earn a separate currency, TP, for these things. That includes summons and then some of these other advanced techniques.
Okay, are those like technique points?
Yes,
Okay.
but you don't earn them in increments of 1. You earn like fractions of a TP every time you finish
Okay.
a battle.
Man.
So if you want to let it keep rolling here,
Yeah.
I think we can show off some of the summons and whatnot. But so it's not like, if you played some of the PS1 Final Fantasies where you're just busting out summons like every battle, the
Yeah.
same summon over and over.
Guess who's showing up at this party?
In this one, so you can see at the bottom the technique point bar maxes out at 5, and it costs 3 technique points to use a summon.
Okay.
And then, like I said, it's going to take numerous battles just to get 1 technique point back. So the summons are going to be a lot more of a special. Like you're gonna hold them until you really need them.
And so, like, is that to have the ability to make a summon, or is that
Right? Yeah. That
Okay.
enables you to use it once, and then you
Oh my
cash,
gosh,
you cash
really?
those points in, and then you got to earn them back to use it again.
Oh
So
wow! So you're casting 1 summon per like a boss fight. Or something.
summons are going to be like special occasion
Oh,
things.
man.
You're definitely going to want to hang on to that until it's
So
absolutely
no more
necessary.
spamming
Ifrit.
Yeah.
So and also the summons are assigned per character in this one. So like Lightning has Odin. Each character only has 1 summon. So
Okay. All right.
so yeah, let's jump into some battle stuff and.
Okay, I'm gonna let this roll out to the next clip. Let's take a look at battle. All right, Brad, we are definitely in a battle.
There's some fighting going on here. So the battles are still technically turn-based. Under the hood, like the characters are, they have their kind of active time bar recharging.
I see that. Yeah, I see that.
But it looks kind of more like it's going in real time. I mean, everybody is constantly doing stuff,
Right.
And so here is an example of where you can change out your paradigm, which basically changes the classes of your characters on the fly. So
What?
yeah, no, it's a lot to take in. It took me the better part of the hour that I played it to really get a handle on it. But this is the stuff I played, and this footage here is from later in the game.
Okay.
And they say that there will definitely be some tutorial stuff earlier on to get you used to this stuff.
All right, so I don't
seems
want
like
to
a
get
good
bogged
thing.
down too much in detail, so
Right.
I won't keep stopping you every second. But this is turn-based, but
It
it looks really smooth.
Yeah. I mean, you're not directly controlling any of these characters to make them do this stuff. You see in the bottom left, you're definitely still issuing menu commands.
Right.
But the weird thing is that this time, it almost seems like the characters can attack as fast as you can issue them attack commands.
Or is there bar goes up, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, so you're basically queuing up multiple
Right.
multiple commands in a
Right.
chain.
So you're always ahead of the game.
If you can think that far ahead, you can give one attack and then tell them to just do it, and then give them another one. But you can see basically you pick like your techniques down here, and so here's a summon.
All right,
So-
here comes Odin. Should we just let this roll for the next 30 minutes?
Sure. No, it seems like the animations aren't that long.
Okay.
Because once you get the summon, this isn't just like a direct damage single-use thing and then it's gone. Like the summon pops out and then you're actually
Right, I remember seeing that.
you're kind of in
Right.
control
He's going to be
of
battling
the
with
summon.
you.
Yeah, so you're basically issuing commands.
Okay. So you're saying Odin doesn't kill guys in one shot? This
Nah,
isn't right
this
through.
time,
Wow, 9. That guy hits hard.
indeed he does.
But it doesn't look like Mr. Target over there is not really taking too much damage, if that's his health meter.
Monsters are pretty tough in this game. I've died, go figure. I died on regular monsters.
Get out of here.
Like the first 2 or 3 battles I fought in this game, I did not win.
Oh, wow.
Against random monsters, just because there's so much going on and it's so fast. There's actually like the old Final Fantasy games, you could pick between active time and like a passive battle system where if you had it set to passive, like monsters wouldn't do anything until you put in commands, but that's not even an option anymore.
So what happened to the rest of the party? So once you summon a guy, it is just you and this, Oh.
We do this together.
You're gonna do something together. Is it a special move? Oh my gosh.
Ooh, flower petals.
And do you know he's turning into a horse?
Oh my lord.
Wow.
Wow, this is pretty excellent.
Oh, a space horse. Great. Yeah. I'm gonna mount you, space horse. Jeez Louise. So
That's pretty intense.
had you not what?
You know, actually, I wish I had gotten a chance to try this during my demo because obviously you've got these pretty wild.
So now it's look if you with this auto gestalt thing that's going on. Are these just like button combinations you're pushing to?
It seems that way, yeah.
Weird. It's crazy. So you didn't see this during your
I
demo?
didn't get a chance to use the summon.
Oh, you guys go nards.
I was sort of so busy. I was so busy just trying to kind of get a handle on just the core combat.
So Final Fantasy 13 is still Final Fantasy. You're still gonna have craziness going on.
Sure. So here is a summonless battle. This is kind of the basic battle that you're gonna see. So another big difference is that you've only got one playable character now.
Okay.
The other two characters are always controlled by AI.
Oh.
And you can set some behaviors for them. But for the most part, they're going to act according to the class that they're currently using and what you're doing, and a bunch of other factors.
Do you get to set up kind of like a logic system for them? Like, what was that thing called? I can't remember. The like set of like things that you could tell a guy to like heal me if I'm low.
It's not that elaborate from what I saw. I mean, it's a lot more. They handle a lot more on the fly.
Oh, that's kind of good.
But you're picking another paradigm here, and you have an auto battle option. I mean, you can hit auto battle after you pick your paradigm, and you'll just act according to what class you're using. Okay. Like if you're a healer and you hit auto battle, you'll kind of auto heal.
All right.
Or auto attack as a commando or whatever.
That's kind of what your other characters are doing anyway.
They're doing that all the time. And I was thinking, auto battle sounds like easy mode.
Well, yeah.
That's what you're going to do when you don't know what you're doing and you just want to fly through the story or whatever.
Sometimes you're grinding out the little dudes.
Well, yeah, I mean, talking to the Square Enix people, even like advanced players later in the game are still going to want to use auto battle sometimes because, like if you look at this meter in the upper right, the stagger meter, this orange bar that's ticking down.
9999999.
This monster is staggered right now, but basically in a normal situation, like as you attack the monster, the stagger meter is going up and up.
Okay.
And it diminishes as while you're not attacking. So you want your characters to constantly be attacking as fast as they can.
Stagger them.
Yeah, build that meter up and stun the monster. So even if you're like looking through your paradigms or whatever, you're gonna want to hit auto battle.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I'm just watching. We've jumped into another clip here, and amazing things are happening.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I had more time to play with the summons, but it's a pretty elaborate battle system. There's a lot to know.
It seems like it, but it seems like one of those things. Once you get into it, maybe not as overwhelming as it might seem on the outside.
It's really fast paced. It feels like you're kind of getting hit with too much information at first, but by the end of like the 30 minutes or whatever, I felt like I was.
Dude, it's like, what is going on with this like Transformers style?
These are the the Gestalt modes, where you kind of combine with your dude.
Falling asleep during some press conference because this is crazy.
Right. Well, so we've seen the summon stuff. Maybe we want to skip ahead to a little bit more kind of regular battle stuff.
I don't know about you, but I'm watching this space butterfly do its thing.
All right, so these dudes have no torsos.
Well, they have a big,
as you can see,
hole.
Maybe their internal organs are stored within those bulbous hands.
That's true. That's their weak spot.
But so this is those summons here, just basic combat. But I guess the only other main thing I wanted to talk about was you've got this active time bar that fills up there, and every segment that fills up counts as kind of one turn.
Oh.
And like your basic spells, you can see there, like fire, blizzard, whatever. Those take one segment.
Okay.
But some of the more advanced abilities are going to take multiple segments. So like, if you have like a really strong magic attack, it might take 3 of those.
Okay.
Which means that takes up 3 spots on your bar, and then you can only queue up one more small attack after that.
Gotcha. It'll take more time for your next turn.
Right. So it's this very, very fluid system of just like queuing up commands, and then like maybe before that queue is even finished, you're going to change your paradigm to swap your classes over.
And watching this seems insane. But I'm sure once you have a controller in your hand,
I kind of felt the same way the first time I sat down with it. But again, It's just kind of a practice thing. You get a feel for it.
Right.
And probably the best thing about all the streamlining they've done to me from what I've seen so far is just how expedient all this stuff flows. Like when you're on the field, it's kind of like it's like 12 or an MMO where you see the monsters everywhere.
Yeah.
You can run around them if you want, but even when you engage a battle, there's no load time.
There's
not even any kind of superfluous animation. Like you're just straight into the battle, like immediately, and it goes really fast. You know, as you can see here, you can basically kill the monsters as fast as you can issue the commands. And then you're straight back on the field and running again. You know, there's no load time or any of that stuff to break this stuff up. So,
do you see a party when you're running around?
Just your main character.
No trail of dudes.
No, they've always been about the merged party members into one character thing, even in the 8 and 16-bit days.
All right, so shall we look at some actual running around stuff?
Yeah, there's like I said, you know, we didn't get to see any of the story stuff during our demo. It's just all this combat.
Here's some of that running around stuff.
Yeah. So you don't get to see it here because this footage is all edited together. But just like I said, the transitions, you know, into and out of battles are really expedited. Everything's super seamless, no loading times. It just feels like a faster-paced experience than it used to be.
Ooh, giant land
turtle. There's certainly some sizable enemies. You know, like I said, here it is, kind of MMO style. You see all the enemies. You can.
So you fight any of those dudes if you want.
Generally, yeah, you can avoid most of the enemies, I guess, if you want. Some of them have kind of a bigger aggro radius than others. So if you get too close to them, they'll run at you.
Okay.
But
there's a little in town.
Yeah, like I didn't get to see all of this stuff, but it definitely gives you a sense of the kind of range of environments. Still don't know a whole ton about the storyline. You know, they haven't shown much of the game in English yet, but I can tell you can ride a chocobo.
I see that. Oh man, don't fight that guy on your chocobo.
And you actually, those little yellow points on the ground that you saw, you actually need a chocobo to jump those. So
okay.
You kind of like need to get this mount so you can explore some new areas. But
so when this is out in Japan, obviously.
Yeah.
So when is this coming out here?
It's like 3 weeks. Like I don't know how this happened.
Are you ready?
Like we've been dealing with the BioShocks and the, you know, whatever else the Mass Effects has come out in the last few weeks, but Final Fantasy XIII is like on the horizon. So
it looks. I have to say, it looks visually, it looks great.
It looks nice. They've made a lot of interesting improvements and changes to the combat system, and I don't know. I'm curious to see.
So PS3 and 360, 3 weeks.
Yep, that's right. And you know, we thought about importing the Japanese version and trying to cover that.
Yeah.
So glad we didn't. So glad we didn't.
Watashi wa.
I mean,
Vinny.
Even kind of knowing what the basic commands are, just figuring all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Even in my native language, took some time for sure.
Well, thanks for showing. Thanks for explaining the B-roll to me.
Sure. That's the Final Fantasy XIII combat engine.
Thank you.
And you know, we'll see how the characterizations and the storyline and all that stuff have shaped up in a couple
3
weeks.
weeks.
Yep. So look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.